Good morning, trainees. Since today is the first day of our training, I would like to start with a lecture about fire. So, what is fire?
Fire is helpful and destructive to mankind. It's more than necessary evil. It provides warmth and food, but uncontrolled, it produces death and destruction. Because of the power of fire, its unintentional origin and behavior are difficult to predict and determine.
Fire is a combination of the three elements, heat, fuel, and oxygen. Removing one of these elements will put out the fire.
Our vision is a modern fire and protection agency working towards a safe and progressive society.
Our mission is to prevent and suppress destructive fires, investigate its causes, provide emergency medical and rescue services, and enforce fire-related laws with active involvement of the community.
In case of fire, actuate the fire alarm call point. Alert personnel nearby so that they can come to your help inform security section. Determine what is burning. Use the right type of extinguisher for fighting the fire. Use the fire extinguisher only if you have attended the practical training. Always position yourself within an exit or means of escape behind you before you attempt to use an extinguisher. If the person who notices the fire feels that it cannot be tackled, he can directly inform the fire station without delay. Upon hearing the fire alarm, evacuate the building and assemble at the designated assembly point. As you evacuate, close the doors of the rooms, do not lock, as this will slow down the spread of smoke and fire. While moving out of the building, always use the stairways. Do not use lifts, they may fail midway trapping people inside.
How to use the fire extinguisher. First, pull the pin in the handle, aim the nozzle at the base of the fire, squeeze the lever slowly, and sweep the nozzle from side to side.
Today, I will demonstrate the necessary skills for fire safety, because soon, you will prepare for your final drill to carry out the standard procedure when the building or house is on fire.
Culmination phase, 6 months later.
Today is the culmination phase of your training here in BFP. You must showcase your skills in fire safety and fire precautions.
Carrying method.
The fireman's carry. First, you cross the arms of the lying victim. Next, you bend the victim's knees and lock their feet by placing your foot at their feet. Then you insert your arm under the neck of the victim with your hand facing down, and as you reach the victim's shoulder, that is the time when you face your hand up. Then grab their shoulder and gently lift the victim to a sitting position. Next, position yourself at the back of the victim. Insert both your arms through the armpits of the victim and tightly hold the victim's arms, then use your strength to make them stand up. Place the arm of the victim on your shoulder and grab the other arm with your hand. Use your vacant hand and insert it between the victim's leg. Finally, grab the other hand of the victim, then carefully stand up.
First carry. It has the same procedure as the fireman's carry. The only thing that's different is that after you place the arm of the victim on your shoulder, kneel down with the leg that is farther away from the victim, while position your other leg in a way that the victim is able to sit on your thigh. You then insert your arm under both legs of the victim with the other arm at the waist of the victim, then carefully stand up.
The shoulder pull. Grasp the victim by the clothing under the shoulders. Keep your arms on both sides the head. Insert your middle finger in the armpits of your victim, and try to keep the pull as straight and in line as possible. The two-man assist to walk. With two people, one person will cross the arms of the lying victim. Then, he or she will then insert their arm under the neck of the victim, then gently lift the victim to a sitting position. After that, position yourself at the back of the victim. Insert both arms through the armpits of the victim and tightly hold the victim's arms. The other person will simultaneously bend the victim's knees and lock their feet by placing your foot at their feet. Then grab the victim's belt. Together, carefully make the victim stand up. Place both arms of the victim on both your shoulders. Next, let the victim place his or her foot on the top of both of your feet. Then carefully walk while the victim is standing on both of the feet of the carriers. Two-man hand as a litter. It has the same procedure as two-man assist to walk. The only thing that's different is that after the carriers place both arms of the victim on both their shoulders, the carriers will bend and kneel down and position both of their legs nearest to the victim in a way that the victim can sit on both of their thighs. The carriers must insert one of their hands under the legs of the victim, while their vacant hand must be at the back of the victim. Then they lock their hands together, then carefully lift the victim.
Emergency response during a fire.
Activate the manual fire alarm call point. Upon hearing the alarm, evacuate the building immediately. As you evacuate, close the doors of the room as this will slow down the spread of smoke and fire. Do not use lifts. And do not attempt to extinguish a fire if there are no exits or safe place behind you. Always use the stairways and assemble at the designated assembly area. In a fire, crawl low under and cover your nose and mouth using a handkerchief or any piece of clean cloth. Test doors before opening. Do not open the door that feels warm. Superheated air might quickly kill you. Try to get out some other way. If your clothing catches on fire, stop, drop, and roll.
Prevention.
The first key element of fire safety is prevention. This can be done by educating everyone about fire safety and promoting adherence to standard fire safety practices based on observations and sound recommendations of experts.
An awareness of its fatal dangers are more than sufficient to keep our families safe from fire.
Your first important step is to identify the most likely causes of fire. After having determined that, you then must do something to eliminate or considerably reduce these fire causes.
So first things first, you have to unplug the appliances that you don't use, just to make sure that the appliances won't overheat, because overheated appliances could result in fire. And second thing, you would probably switch off the lights that you don't use, just to prevent the lights from overheating as well. And lastly, make sure you dispose of your cigarettes properly, if only you're a smoker.
Before doing your next household chore, make sure to turn off your stove and get rid of flammable materials. Before bedtime, never ever forget to turn off all your sources of light, like flammable ones. For example, candles. Good night!
Good day, trainees. I would like to congratulate you for passing our culmination phase training here in BFP.